Alrighty, and I'll do one more of these for now. Again, show te- showcasing slash playtesting another version of my list. This time we got Blue Red, led by Malcolm and Kraum. So reasons to play this one over Mono Blue. Red has a few cards that are really strong in Commander. Namely, I think these are the only red cards in this list. Blasphemous Act, Deflecting SWAT, Deflecting SWAT, Dockside Extortionist, and Goldspan Dragon somewhere. Those four cards that are very ridiculous on their own can easily decide games. Just really busted. And another splash of red in this deck is the Dominus of Fealty. Maybe we'll see that, but it's just a fun card. Can steal permanents at upkeeps. All right, but similar to Mono Blue, same idea here. Force issues, put extra mana into play, draw extra cards, get ahead on the board, and then stop relevant threats as you progress your game plan, mostly through attacking people. It has the same infinite combos as the mono blue version. Can't think of anything that I'm missing at the moment. Um, Only real trade offs are you lose high tide and maybe some, I guess, Nykthos quote unquote focus, since there are some more red permanents, but you gain the red cards I pointed out at the start of the video. Definitely more solid on their own. So let's get right into it with opening hand decisions. So this hand, this deck it can definitely play a defensive, I guess, more controlling game if it has to. But again, it's meant to be offensive and to force its game plan and force issues. So this hand, it doesn't have any 2 mana ramp, which is very important. You want to play Malcolm ahead of curve. Okay, not exactly ahead of curve. Turn 3 Malcolm's fine, of course, but you want to be able to follow up with a turn 4 Kraum just in case Malcolm gets answered or some kind of turn 4 play, which looks likely with this hand. But I would prefer a 2 mana rock. But given that this deck is so heavy with card advantage, and we have a Force of Will opening hand to either stop a Soul Ring, or depending on how fast it comes out, we have Mystical Tutor to go find Archmage's Charm to steal it. Also, Mystical Tutor to go tutor for Blasphemous Act early if an aggressive deck gets out of control. And again, with Force of Will to stop anything degenerate. This hand's it's not ideal, but pretty hard to pitch this back. It really has everything it needs outside of acceleration, which the deck is loaded with. So we'll go ahead and keep it. So we'll draw. Okay, kind of saw that last one. So I wouldn't play, even though I saw Fell Washed On under there. It's pretty much no chance I would play this Arid Mesa first. There is consideration of Basic Island first to potentially have the idea of mystical tutoring into mana drain to hold that up. But with Force of Will in hand, we would Force of Will anything that will lead into us thinking, okay, we need the mystical tutor in order to hold up mana drain. So yeah, I can't think of any play that would motivate searching for mana drain or something to that effect, over as opposed to just forcing the spell. And if that did come up 100% force using Spellseeker, even Spellseeker is a body that can be reused with stuff like Jace and or Sakashima the Imposter. But at the end of the day, Spellseeker is a tutor. It's not doing anything unique. So definitely find a pitch at the force. So with that logic, we're definitely going to play the Volatile Fjord here. Tap. Comes into play tap, but touch with blue and red consistently, so that's fine. And go to next turn. All right, here. Even if our opponents would have done anything busted, would have forced a will for sure. But this is exactly what we wanted to see. Play a turn 2 mana rock. Now we're already ahead of curve, and we're going to be forcing the issue, which is exactly what this deck wants. Again, no real considerations at this point of the game. Again, holding up Force of Will for anything degenerate. Spellseeker being the pitch. No real consideration to upkeep Mystical Tutor for anything. If Malcolm gets countered, he gets countered. Half the reason I like this variation over the mono blue is that if I play a turn 2 mana rock, on turn 3 I can play Malcolm. If he gets countered, so be it. But then Kraum, in my opinion, Kraum is basically a must-answer creature. He just draws so many cards for free. So if multiple people aim counter spells or interaction your way early, I mean, so be it. It's kind of hard for any deck to fight through that unless it's just built up some. but no one person can feasibly aim that many resources at you and expect to win. So not going to play around that. All right, so we'll just take the next draw step. All right, Talaria West. So much like in the mono blue deck, which I don't think any video I've made so far has shown Talaria. Actually, yeah, I don't think it's shown Talaria searching. This can search for namely Nykthos in this deck. Should have, I believe we have all three. We have Nykthos, Deserted Temple, yes, and Minimum. At this stage in the game, we definitely have we could get a lot of blue devotion, but this tap land could definitely come back to bite us. So I'm more prone to playing it right here. Because think about this turn. So we're 100% going to play Malcolm. Alternatively, we could play Arid Mesa, tutor for a tap Steam Vents, or even Shaka just have Mystical Tutor up. Can't imagine what we would Mystical Tutor for outside of a Blasphemous Act, but we probably know if we're going to do that. We would know that already going into it, our turn 3. So it's unlikely I will Mystical Tutor for anything at this point. Maybe because Malcolm, if Malcolm dies, it's really not the end of the world. Like I said, we've already ramped. Um, I guess deflecting SWAT or like fierce guardianship would be a consideration if we had something we knew we wanted to protect, and we don't. So with that knowledge, generally tutors are smarter to save, or okay, I'm not gonna say smarter, but in my experience, it's smarter to save a tutor until you absolutely know what you need. And this early in the game, I couldn't tell you, so I would likely play the Talaria was tapped. I'm sorry for the lag. Computer thinks I was holding it down. I was a little bit tap and just go with the Malcolm. Again, if he gets answered, so be it, but it's really not the end of the world if he doesn't, because we got another, in my opinion, must answer creature right behind him. So take his turn. We'll just go to the next one. Oh, there was also consideration to play Jace that turn. So Jace is a strong play if the board is clear and there are no creatures, or arguably stronger than Malcolm if the table is heavy control and there's a window to play the Jace, because Jace just sitting on the field, like, it could just generate a ton of card advantage. In a multiplayer game, obviously, he's more likely to die, but just brainstorming repeatedly, especially with fetch lands and shuffle effects, yeah, can definitely go a long way. Sorry, I definitely should have brought that play up. Yes, if there were no creatures on board, I'm 100% considering playing Jace. But if there was even a slightest possibility of like anything kind of attacking him down, which is, I guess, kind of likely, I would stick with Malcolm or Spellseeker plus Mystical Tutor. Again, tutors are better, I guess, when you're more sure of what you're going to tutor for. So I probably would not recommend those just yet. So we'll stick with Malcolm. Although I can't really can't stress enough, if the board is clear of creatures, I'll probably go with Chase, especially if with the Mystical Tutor right here to tutor for a Blasphemous Act. If the board got clogged up quickly, we could kill the board and protect the Jace even further. We'll go with Malcolm in the next turn. Command Tower, that's a fine draw. I still wouldn't really expect to Mystical Tutor after this turn, although it's definitely a possibility. Not really afraid. The only reason to be afraid of holding fetches is for like Opposition Agent or even Mind Sensor. If you're worried about those in a matchup, I would say crack them early. Otherwise, we can go with the Command Tower. Go ahead and play Kraum pre-combat just to not pass up the 4 damage. So swing in, create a treasure. So we've done 6 damage, have 2 pretty strong creatures on the board. So at this point, if a control opponent hasn't done enough, like, I'm not saying we don't need to cast a spell for the rest of the game, but they definitely have to take some action here, because Kraum will draw cards and Malcolm will keep generating mana. So definitely pass with this turn. At this point in the game, let's see, 1, 2. We're not going to play land 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 5, 6. If we crack this treasure for Mystical Tutor, we could go for and Mystical Tutor for a counter spell. We could go for Jace with a basically double counterspell backup with a mana drain and a Force of Will. In a super control matchup where I was confident in Jace the Living, I would consider that play. But in general, again, here with the situation, I probably wouldn't go for that. If enemy decks are creature heavy, this would be a great time to consider crack the Mystical Tutor for Cyclonic Rift. Next turn, make a land drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If Malcolm makes contact, that's 7. We can overload a Cyclonic Rift with Force backup, and then have Kraum on the field. So if people rebuild quickly, he draws cards. That's a very strong play, and that's half the reason I think Kraum is a super strong commander. I mean, he generally punishes people for basically taking good turns, and then he rewards you for resolving strong things like Cyclonic Rift. On turn 5, usually the board isn't desperate enough to where tutoring for Rift is that necessary. Extra turn here, like it really wouldn't do much. It would just kind of do some more additional damage, so I wouldn't bother with that. So still at this point in the game, unless something was an obvious threat, I wouldn't bother with the Mystical Tutor. So we'll just check our untap. All right, Ponder. So Ponder's fine. We could go for a Ponder and then shuffle. We don't like options. So let's see if we have, and I'm assuming here Malcolm would make contact, but I probably wouldn't swing Kraum if he was the biggest creature on the board and I was considering playing Jace. Usually at this point in games, I'm trying to think. I guess let's play assuming Jace would not last that long. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and Ponder and take a look. So we're not hurting on lands. We let's see. We haven't played a land yet. So we can definitely play this Ponder, draw one card, and then shuffle immediately, or draw 2 cards or 3 before we shuffle. So generally, pondering before you play your land is smart. At least I think that's what I see in Legacy videos. Not that I follow those to a T in Commander, but generally the same principles hold up. Let's play Ponder. So we can take a look. Okay, so it's a bit land heavy. We already have 2 lands in hand. I haven't played one yet, but just drawing one of these would be fine. I think one would be fine. Generally, like keeping 2 lands in hand is strong. Archmage's Charm. So this hand is definitely gearing up to be more of a controlling one. We started off with opening hand, Force of Will. Had a tutor, well, 2 tutors actually. Both of these tutors can get interaction. That's probably what they would get early. Jace can interact and draw cards. So this Ponder, if we're the control deck in the pod or matchup, I would definitely keep this Archmage's Charm. If we need to answer something, we're actually fine. I would probably still take this anyway because we already know if we need to. We would already know if we needed to answer something, and we probably would have Mystical Tutor for the Blasphemous Sector ready to handle an aggro deck. We have 2 creatures in the air to apply Planeswalker, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. So I would take the. And again, I'm not trying to win at all costs. Just trying to show what the deck can usually do when we're getting into later turns. So let's see. We can draw this. Malcolm make a treasure 1, 2, 3, 4. Still play Jace. Can't hold up the Archmage's Charm exactly. We could still have Force of Will. Let's see. But we could play 1, 2, 3. Spellseeker and hope for Archmage's Charm. So that's a pretty good play. So if we're not playing around in back to basics for Blood Moon, Cascade Blast would be better to draw faster. So let's go with the Archmage's Charm. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I guess I kind of goofed there. If we play Spellseeker, we're going to shuffle those lands away. But we have another land in hand. We'll probably see more. We already have Malcolm online. We definitely want to use our mana this turn. So like I said, we're going to play assuming Jace will get, dealt with pretty quickly. So let's go and attack. Generally, I think I definitely wrote this in the mono blue description, but it applies to this deck too. This isn't a control deck. As I said, it can definitely play a controlling game if necessary, but it's more like of a scaled up tempo version, or not tempo version, tempo deck, where a little less focus on bouncing stuff and all that, because bouncing is inherently card advantage, and you really don't want card advantage, too much card advantage or 1v1, you fall behind, and in multiplayer you're definitely falling behind, so you don't want too much of that. But this deck can definitely play a grinding control game if necessary. So swing, make this treasure. I'm gonna shuffle those lands away, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3. Cast a Spellseeker. If someone fought over this, we could definitely Archmage's Charm, but I probably wouldn't. And what to get here? Let's see if we hold up Archmage's Charm. Nothing in particular. As I said, this hand definitely geared more towards of a control role, which is fine, and the deck can play that role. Just have to execute properly. So if against a more controlling pod, I would consider this quote unquote having the board again 2 mustangs or permanents. So mana drain wouldn't be the worst here. If we didn't have the board, I would go ahead and consider getting Cyclonic Rift just to prepare to take over it while holding up another counter spell for a threat. So we'll do that. Shuffle. Okay, just see what happens. And combat in a game like this, it wouldn't be surprising if we wouldn't have to block with Spellseeker, but let's just say it happened for the sake of the playtest. And we go to the next turn. If we had the Mystical Tutor for Blasphemous Actor, we could. Still not worth getting. Let's see. So even if we got a turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If assuming no disruption, we could play an extra turn, back defend it with Force of Will, pitching like Archmage's Charm, and play Jace. That would probably be a turn that would be worth it, and especially if we could follow up with Cyclonic Rip. So if people tap pretty low, or if we weren't expecting like to fight over double counter spell, that could be something to consider. So actually, yeah, let's go ahead and play to that line because why not? Just a show example. So let's have a Mystical Tutor. Someone tried to fight over it. Actually, I would spin Archmage's Charm here. We don't need to yeah, just spin it. We don't need to take the card disadvantage on Force just yet. Oh, no. If we spin these treacherous, we can't take the turn. So we would definitely want that. So we'd Force, pitch, Archmages. I wouldn't do this if multiple people have mana up because you can definitely get blown out here. Two if you want, 2 for wanting yourself is already pretty rough in a multiplayer game, so you need to make it count. So get capture, as I said. So I will say with this version, it's much harder to play test in a vacuum, not knowing what's actually going on with the match. With mono blue, that list or version is definitely more focused on offense. So the idea is definitely just keep jamming. This red version is a little more scaled back. Like for example, in a mono blue version, maybe more of these lands would just be flat out islands, and then maybe tutoring for high tide faster would have been an option. Or from right off the bat, it would have been smarter to go all in on Sakashima on Malcolm just to go over the top of mana generation, tutor for finale, and just jam a threat down everyone's throat. But can't really do that with the blue-red version. Like I said, it can. I guess you trade a bit of the explosive potential for a bit more versatility. Okay, so we tutor got a turn. Go ahead and definitely want to swing with Malcolm Kraum first. Make sure we make contact to make sure we have a treasure to work with. Couldn't fight over another counterspell here, but that would be a lot of resources thrown our way. So we're going to play Jace first so we can brainstorm before cracking this fetch. If we so choose, we have enough mana to not crack it. Just looking for more card advantage here, although resolving the Rift would definitely... resolving the Rift and Kraum still living, and untapping with a Jace, the card advantage will handle itself for sure. So let's see. We don't have to crack this immediately. If the board wasn't, in dire straits, just jamming Kozilek would be good. But these are fine. I think we could shuffle our Arcane Signet at this point. So we'll put it back like this. Crack the treasures. All right, play the capture. We'll assume that resolves. Untap. We'll take the draw step because we definitely want more lands. But we know a Arcane Signet is on top. We don't really want that card. So go ahead and crack this fetch. I missed. Oh, right here, get a Volcanic Island. Life total probably wouldn't matter that much. Of course, it would depend on the matchup. But if you have any hesitation, just go ahead and get the Volcanic and shock yourself later. All right, so we fetch fresh top of the library. Go ahead and brainstorm. All right, so we have not played a land yet. Nick those. Let's see. So expedition map. Kick it. Nick those, which generates 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think it's worth the investment this turn because what are we planning to do? So we could use all this mana to go get Nick those, play Nick those, tap for 4, 5, 6, and then with a Malcolm, and we crack that treasure that overloads the Cyclonic Rift. So that I think that would be a pretty strong play. And then right after that, we start. If we keep the, let's see, what are we going to shuffle away? If we shuffle away the preordained and the basic island, we have more, threats or these threats / card advantage creatures to follow up with. So that's what I would go for. And assuming we got this far with the extra turn resolving, I'm assuming the Rift will resolve. So let's play like that. So 1 for the map, 2 to crack it. Go ahead and grab Nick those, shuffle, put that into play. Attack, get a treasure. And as you've seen, these treasures have been very valuable. So if Malcolm's not disrupted, and I'm not even built around Malcolm, the only other pirate in this list is Dockside Extortionist. The mono blue version doesn't even have any extra pirates, but Malcolm alone, he's just a really strong creature. So I'm gonna miscount. Yes, it's 4 mana. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At this point, if there are other blue decks at the table, I would definitely sacrifice on my turn just to make sure it resolved. Okay, for the purposes of the playtest, I'll continue as though taxes won't draw any cards. Although turn 6, if we overload a rift without challenge, Kraum will probably draw 3 cards in this rotation, but we won't do that. So we'll go on to turn 7. Let's see where we end up after turn 7, par, 10 extra turns. Okay, so we'll brainstorm first, give most information we can. And our arcane signet came back on us. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So Attemptus isn't going to do much good this turn. Is Aurora we cast Kozilek this turn? Let's see. So we play a Soul Ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Cavalier. And then Nick those taps for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we have 9 mana. I don't think Kozilek is happening, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But maybe everything except Kozilek, and he would be the follow-up threat to take over. So we don't need the Arcane Signet this turn. Don't need Kozilek at the moment because we're going to pick him right back up with the Cavalier. So let's see. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we should be on 8 lands. We took 1 extra turn. We haven't seen a lane yet. So start with the Soul Ring first, of course. Soul Ring, and then, or actually, I think we could start with Fish first here, and that will matter for Nicholas Devotion. So Fish, and as you can see, even though this deck is blue-red, still heavy blue focus, which means Nicholas will put in a ton of work. So Fish first, just so if anyone wants to interact, will draw cards. And Soul Ring, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place Cavalier here. Brainstorm. Again, this is why I like blue so much. You can always play 2 steps ahead. So again, so let's see. This test from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll have 9 mana after combat. So Kozilek isn't happening, but we can make our land drop and put out this Attempts so that we have multiple threats that draw cards. And if our board doesn't get answered, I don't think Attempts is going to draw into, or I guess I don't think we're going to draw enough cards where Attempts kill somebody. But that's why its second ability is great. You can second ability. You can loot cards away. Maybe loot this Arcane Signet into something more useful, for example. So we'll put the Kozilek back, put the Arcane Signet back. Yeah, that's fine. Want to make the land drops. We're going to play the Sulphur Falls. Tap for blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Play as Attempts. I'm sorry, that was poor sequencing. We should definitely put the Kozilek on top. So we draw him. And then next turn we definitely play Kozilek. Okay. And then combat here, we just put 2 new creatures into play. So definitely swing out here, get a treasure. All right, I think I'll take 1 more turn in this playtest just to see where we get. Okay, but very strong board position. A lot of power on the board, notably all of it in the air. This deck definitely has a sub-flying theme to it. You got to put out either reach or your own flyers to stop yourself from getting bashed, and we have another tax effect. So again, for the purposes of playtest, let's assume the taxes do nothing, but at this stage in the game, this Remora would probably go the distance if it was off. So we will pay for it, and then let's see. So we'll draw Kozilek. We'll brainstorm first, just to get the most information. Okay, not amazing. Could be worse. So we'd put back a Signet and the Dream Eater. Want to hold SWAT here because we want Kozilek to resolve, and SWAT could protect it, of course. Attempts, whenever Attempts is unlikely to, I guess, kill someone with its third ability, I generally hold it back for the card advantage, but let's see what Kozilek hits because Nicholas is about to tap on a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, this one land's about to cast a Kozilek on its own. So I said 11, use 10 of it for Kozilek. So that will put a draw 4 on the stack. I'll probably do that. With deflecting SWAT as protection. Okay, so it will probably resolve. Okay, now. And we have a turn in the yard. So this, let's see, but I don't think we have enough mana, or I think we will. So we have 1 floating. We could use this 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, we could play this Archaeomancer. Get captured back. with the power of Malcolm, we could cast it. Actually, we could. So let's let me get that treasure back. We could go to combat, swing everything again. All of it's in the air. Let's see. Attempts as it would actually be. Let's see. Attempts is 1 CMC away from killing somebody immediately. So that's why this card is good. Okay, so we do some serious damage here. Get another treasure. Second treasure would allow us to crack for this permanent arcane signet mana and take this extra turn. All right, so it's a capture, so we got turn stored. Now in this case, I don't know particularly if we run away with the game, but with Jason Archaeomancer, with this loyalty, that's at least 3 turns. And with if Kozilek didn't get disrupted, that's annihilating 1 person out of the game. And then we have 5, 9, 13, 15 air power. We've already been swinging. 2 people are likely dead, but let's see if we can hit a combo, just since we started 2 turns. And if this all flew, of course, I'm going to let the fish go because we're going to go for broke here. Upkeep, is there a consideration to flash in the Dream Eater? Yes, there is. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because we still have enough mana to bounce Archaeomancer, replay the turn with Jace. So we're looking for gas here. So untap, upkeep, no turn stored. We definitely let the fish go, that's fine. But as I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna flash in the Dream Eater here. Try to make our draw as alive as possible. Looking for ways to continue the combo. We're just land's not the end of the world. We still want to hit our land drops. Although, like I said, we could be super aggressive. We do have Jace is kind of tied up with the Archaeomancer now. And we could use a Tempest for card advantage here. If we weren't sure we could just kill everyone with damage, we could go for card advantage. So we'll take the we'll put 1 land on top. Ristic Study probably wouldn't matter since we're probably killing 2 people here. All right, so got the Dreamer. We'll draw. Place Training Center. Go ahead and attack. Getting us a lot of damage. If attempts does matter for damage, we would attack with her. If not, hold her back. May use her for card advantage. Okay, so do all that damage. Get a treasure from Malcolm. Okay, so let's tap Nicholas for blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's 14 blue mana. Love having this much blue mana. So we'd activate Jace to bounce the Archaeomancer. Go to 10 and replay it. And get back, let's see. Ironically enough, Mystical Tutor or, let's see, Mystical Tutor. We can't directly go and get a piece that makes a combo, but again, I believe with this board state with the Annihilator and damage, we'll probably just take people out, but we'll get the turn here just to keep that going. So 10 mana, go to 5. Cast a turn, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And because Malcolm is amazing, the 10 I counted out, we could cast a Ulamog here, exile 2 enemy permanents. So again, I'm sure with 2 turns and Q, this will probably just take care of the board state, but we'll keep going. Let's see. I could have counted my mana better. Yeah, I definitely should have attacked with attempts that turn. Yeah, because we knew what we were gonna see. All right, so on tap here. No tricks before draw, so we'll go ahead and do that. Draw. All right, so it's a master time. Sorry, it's lagging a little bit. That's fine. That gets us deeper into the library, see if we can get anything relevant. So yeah, let's do that. If we got this far, we want to turn Deflecting Swat into a useful card, maybe. All right, so Teferi, took up on him. Card Minimo is actually relevant. So yes, at this point, yeah, I would be this aggressive and pitch the Deflecting Swat because I think we can end the game, especially with 1 person getting annihilated, others. Someone else getting hit for massive damage, the other one getting Ulamogged out. Okay, used him. We'd go to combat here, turn everybody sideways. Again, everything either flies or is massive, besides the Archaeomancer, but it's definitely doing its own damage with looping this turn. Oh, here again, if attempts wasn't important, I'd save her for card advantage. All right, so now we got mana for days. Let's go ahead and tap Nicholas for blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 16 mana this time. So let's go ahead and do the turn combo. Bounce 9 mana to go ahead and Arguments and turn again, so I'll go ahead and subtract that. Interesting here, we can use 3 mana to activate a Tempest. Draw 2 cards, discard a card, both lands. Not that. So I guess if we want to be really strict, a fetch line here would be better because we could fetch Steam Vents in the deck. Yes, out of here, so we'll do that. And now since we need more card advantage, we can use 1 blue, use minimal to untap. Arcanist attempts to use her ability again. Draw 2 cards, discard a card. All right, so solve the equation. Let's see. Yeah, solve the equation. Still doesn't guarantee an infinite, but generally, it definitely guarantees enough value to where this game is almost certainly on lock. So we'll solve, actually grab Play Finale Revelation. All right, so we'll grab that. All right, so we'll go to, so we had a turn in queue. We'll go to the turn, untap, we'll draw. Or we could just draw a combo piece right there. So Tide Spout, I actually don't think I've covered this yet in my mono blue videos, but Tide Spout, Archaeomancer, and turn, who would have thought, also goes infinite. Cast a turn spell, bounce your Archaeomancer to your hand. Cast your Archaeomancer, bounce whatever you want, get the turn spell back to your hand. That's infinite turns right there. And while you're doing it, the Tide Spout gets rid of enemy board states. So we generated like what? How much mana? I think that was tapping for. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So cast Tide Spout here. And Nykthos with tap 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 mana, -3 to 16, and add 19 again. That is, let's see, it's 35 mana, so yeah, more than enough to go infinite returns here. 35 mana, we go finale for 33. The smart thing to do would be to get, I guess, Mystical Tutor in hand before we did this. Or actually, we wouldn't want to kill Jace, but if we get Mystical Tutor, let's see. I'm sorry, if we get Solve back, we could guarantee that we can go tutor for an extra turn again. But with, let's see, should be able to get there with drawing 32. Let's see what happens. Again, we already have the game log on log, but I just kind of want to see what we would draw. So it would be 32, go to 33 cards. I guess the one problem with, I guess, the non-black versions is that they do have low tutor power, so you can definitely whiff in some cases. Especially untap 5 lands. Oops, untap a double blue. Okay, so we drew. So drawing Spellseeker with Mystical Tutor still in the deck. Yeah, we could definitely go get Mystical Tutor, cast a cantrip, or cast it, go get a turn, cast Preordain to, and then this is all with a Tide Spout active, but we already started an infinite combo. Go get a turn, Fate Seal ourselves with Jace to, I guess, stock more turns in queue. So definitely between the Annihilator and the Ulamog and just the damage on board, and attempts is just one-shotting every time it makes contact. Definitely enough gas to just in the game. Okay, but yeah, that'll wrap this one up. As we saw, deck did what it's designed to do. Mana advantage, card advantage, and interaction to handle opposing threats. We definitely saw in this playtest, blue-red, now don't get me wrong, it can be just as explosive as the blue one, but we saw that opening hand definitely geared more control. But if given the opportunity and not disrupt the deck, can definitely take over just like any other variation. So that'll wrap up this version. I'll probably do more of it in the future. I do enjoy this blue-red list. It's definitely, I would say, challenging and intriguing to play because if you get an aggressive hand, and generally you want an aggressive hand, you're definitely forcing the issue of just jamming threats. But if you're dealt a controlling hand, it forces your controlling hand will force your hand to be smart and counter or interact with the right things. Because the deck, it can handle a wide variety of threats, but you have to answer the right thing, or it can fall behind, or just get comboed out on it, something like that. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I plan to have more in the future.